all hell has broken loose after the Supreme Court's ruling gutting the Voting Rights Act Section 2, as all of these MAGA Republican states are now getting rid of any black majority congressional districts, and they are refusing allowing black Americans to have representation at all, systematically gutting these congressional districts one by one.
These maps are racist tools of white supremacy at the behest of the most powerful white supremacist in the United States of America, Donald J. Trump. Memphis is the most beautiful place on the planet. It's the place that raised me, my brothers, my parents, my grandmothers, and where my ancestors' bones rest. And what you are doing today is eviscerating the only black majority congressional district in our state because we are majority black. We are here because this Republican Party has to seek to steal elections and seats because the president and the party have refused to address the pain, the suffering, and the struggling of everyday Tennesseans. This is about attacking, targeting, and cracking District 9 into pieces for more political and racial dominance and white supremacy in the state of Tennessee. And we need to realize that the Calais decision that you all are basing your decisions off of, that gutted the Voting Rights Act, that Voting Rights Act was paid in blood. It was not just a parchment of paper signed into law. It was paid in blood on the Edmund Pettus Bridge. Paid in blood by Medgar Evers. Paid in blood by Fannie Lou Hamer. It's been paid in blood year over year, time after time, assassination after assassination, lynching after lynching. So that more people might be able to ascertain access to this constitutional democratic republic experiment that is currently being gutted and seeking to be gutted by this chamber, by this House, this Senate, and this state. What is happening here is immoral and wrong. And I was reading my Bible early this morning, asking God why this is happening. Why, again, does it seem that white supremacy is seeming to gain? Why, again, does it seem like the pillars of pain that we have felt and experienced for over 400 years in this country continue to rise again? And whispered in the words of this Bible and in the words of those ancestors that have gone before us is just these simple words: we're still here. We are still here. This nation, this state has legislated and legalized the worst things in humanity, including our enslavement, and we are still here. Right in this country where, as one black woman said, your clancestors enslaved us, denied us of our rights, called us 3/5 of a person, and yet we are still here. You put us on cotton plantations and tobacco plantations. You denied our human rights and our right to exist as children of God, and we are still here. You destroyed Tulsa. You killed and lynched black folks on poplar trees. Shelby County, Tennessee had the most lynchings of anywhere in this state where you're taking this district, and we are still here. You've had 3 strikes laws, mass incarceration, denied us of who we are, and we are still here. And today you'll take the only majority black district from us. But I want you to know, and I want my nephew, sons, and the future to know, no matter what you do, no matter how much you try and break us and make us bend and make us quit, we will still be here.
Bible actually does instruct those who do own slaves on how to treat them and to treat them fairly and kindly.
John Pearson.
It is nearly unconscionable to believe that you just articulated the theological vision of enslavers in this capital in the year 2026 as though it was okay. Because here's your problem. The Bible, which was written in many different iterations, but is articulating a time of thousands of years ago, was used as justification for enslavement that happened thousands of years later, 400 years ago in our country. And so even if you're trying to articulate, as you are incorrectly, that the Bible was somehow giving permission to slavery, that would have been in the era in which it was happening. It wouldn't be used as a theological justification just 400 years ago in our nation's history. But what is worse, and what is deeply disturbing by what you have just said is not how you are saying, and that was wrong or immoral. There is no question that slavery was immoral. And you shouldn't need a Bible to know that. And there were always people who were antithetical to the antebellum South's iteration of chattel slavery. The people who were enslaved, who were kidnapped from the continent of Africa and brought here against their will. And I am a Christian, and I am a 7th-generation Tennessean. I have read the Bible from front to back, and the stories about love, about who Christ is, about loving thy neighbor and loving God is what we are told to profess. So anyone who misused the Bible to enslave people, misuse the Bible to keep people in bondage, they were wrong then as you are wrong now. I refuse to support this legislation because the lens by which you are viewing the world is toxic, is damning, is wrong, and is immoral. And you, my fellow colleagues, should do much more work in understanding the history of this country and understanding the history of enslavement and the consequences that it continues to wreak and the barriers it continues to create in this state and around the country. No one should ever be able to use Christianity as justification for the enslavement of people, especially not someone who has the audacity to call themselves a legislator.
We're dealing with right now is white supremacy at its zenith. They are literally rigging and stealing elections and stealing congressional seats because they cannot win otherwise at the behest of the president after the Cali decision of the Supreme Court. And he decided to tell our governor and a lady who's running for governor that they need to steal our only majority black district in the entire state, which is in Memphis and Shelby County, where I currently serve as a state representative and where I'm also running to serve in the U.S. Congress for District 9. These things are not incidental or accidental. They've been building up to it over a long period of time, whether it be Shelby County v. Holder, where they gutted Section 5 of the Voting Rights Act, to now gutting Section 2, where we were able to use the courts as a way to ensure that our representation, our voices weren't being taken away systematically. And now, surgically, they have cut our district into 3, proportionally, nearly to the percentage of 33% of black folks in each of those districts, in order to dilute our voice, to dilute our vote, and to take away our political power. And you mentioned this, but over the next several months and couple of years, we are going to see the largest purge of black people in elected office since the end of Reconstruction. Because right now, they're coming for congressional districts, but next they will be coming for our state house seats and our state senate seats. And let me talk particularly about the South here. In the South in particular, there are 12 to 20 U.S. congressional seats that we might be on the verge of losing. There are 200 state house and state senate seats that we will likely lose due to the response and the white lash by white supremacists who are in these positions of power. And so, yes, we must vote, and also we must build power that sustains us for the long haul and share a vision for our country, share a vision for the South where there's healthcare access, there's opportunity in education, there isn't environmental racism and degradation, and that black folks who are in positions of power, that we use these positions not just to push yes and no on buttons, but to build power in the communities where we are serving. But this is the fight of our life, and everyone has to be engaged in it.
Hands on! Memphis! Hands on! Memphis! Hands on!
You know, had it not been for the Voting Rights Act, black people would not participate in the political process. You look at me. I was not able to register to vote in the 60s because the local officials wouldn't allow it. They had to send under the Voting Rights Act federal registrar. And so what we have now with this court ruling everywhere in the South, we didn't have a single black member of Congress. We have 2 in Louisiana, 1 in Mississippi, 2 in Alabama. We have 5 in Georgia. We have 1 in South Carolina, and 3 in North Carolina. None of those individuals would have been elected had it not been for the Voting Rights Act.
These maps are racist tools of white supremacy at the behest of the most powerful white supremacist in the United States of America, Donald J. Trump.
Police now arresting black lawmakers and like grabbing black lawmakers. And Pearson's like, get off of me. What are you doing? Like, you literally have the scenes that we saw, you know, post civil rights movement or leading up to the civil rights movement. Play this clip.
Let brother go, man. I'll walk him out. Y'all going? Let go of him. Let go of him, sir. Now you got me all tied up. Sir, no. Now you got me all tied up. My brother ain't doing nothing to nobody. Hey, doing nothing to nobody. You don't walk out by yourself. Move the back. Boy! Yeah, let Pearson go. Let Pearson go. What's wrong with you? What's wrong with you? You stupid mother.
So there's no referendum, no public vote in Tennessee. The legislature just takes away people's vote. They pick up a GOP seat. No vote in Florida, just the state legislature changes the congressional maps. Republicans pick up 4 GOP seats. In Missouri, 1 GOP seat picked up. North Carolina, 2 GOP seats. No vote, no nothing like that. No vote in Texas, 5 GOP seats. Virginia, there's a vote, a public referendum. The people approve the maps. They vote in a popular sovereignty. And then the right-wing MAGA Supreme Court goes, nope, you can't do that. You can't do that.
But I want you to know, and I want my nephew, sons, and the future to know, no matter what you do, no matter how much you try and break us and make us bend and make us quit, we will still be here.